The following is a ghost story that took place in England in the early 90s that was seen by credible witnesses, leaving no doubt that in life there are so many questions with so few answers, and that life is one big mystery. The following creepy event took place in Stockport, Manchester, UK in the early 90s as a new bypass was being built. The work that was recently started had somehow caused a disturbance, leading to unusual paranormal activities. The first eerie incident happened to two security guards as they were driving around carrying out their nightly routine. It was around midnight when they spotted on the building site some children in old-style clothing dancing around in a circle. They then drove closer to investigate further and were totally baffled, as the dancing children were in the middle of nowhere and far away from any houses, and as they drew closer, the children disappeared in front of their eyes. This incident was to be the beginning of a very strange night as they continued to carry out their nightly inspections. As they continued to drive around, one of them spotted a hooded figure standing on a bridge, and they immediately stopped the car. As one of them got out, he told the other guard to shine the headlights of the car on the bridge to get a better look at who was standing there. But as the other guard shone the lights at the figure, the lights went straight through it. As the guard drew closer to the bridge, he and the guard in the car saw the figure disappear in front of them. Now in total fear of what they just encountered, they immediately drove as fast as they could. On returning to the office, they contacted their security company manager, Peter Owens, who on arriving found the two guards in a state of panic, where one of them was crying. The security guards claimed that the hooded figure looked like a monk, and they both felt a sense of evil and could not understand what he was doing up on the bridge. The following morning, the two men went to the local police and spoke to a PC Dick Ellis, who after hearing their story told them it was not really a police matter, and in a humorous manner told them they should probably need to speak to someone in the church. The two guards did not see the humour in what DC Ellis had said and immediately went to the local church in Stockbridge and refused to leave there. The church then called the police station and asked them to remove the terrified guards. As the guards never received any answers or closure from their ordeal, one refused to go back to his job and left after 3 days, and the remaining guard left after 2 months. The manager said that the men were so fearful, neither went back to the site of their ordeal. However, it turns out that the two security guards were not the only people to witness the strange happenings in that area. Joggers Graham Book and his son Nigel were running in the same location, as Graham was training for a marathon. They spotted a hooded figure walking down the middle of the road with his back to the traffic, and as the figure suddenly turned around, his son Nigel noticed that the strange figure had no discernible feature except for a nose and eye sockets, and both claimed that he was giving off a terrible odour. Graham said that he wasn't walking on the road, but in the road, and he couldn't see anything from the knee down. Further sightings were seen on the bypass when a couple by the name of Judy and David Simpson were driving home from Judy's parents, when Judy spotted a grey apparition with no facial features and appeared to be hovering with his arms and legs flailing about, and then suddenly disappeared. They had no doubt that they'd just seen a ghost. Psychic Lucinda June claims that she had some answers to what people had been experiencing after she herself had been driving along the Stockton bypass when a car had started to get extremely cold, along with a musty smell. Then a darkness appeared on the left-hand side of the carriageway, and a paralysing fear came over her, where she picked up the spirit of a monk who lived about 500 years ago. Further research found that on the side of the roadworks there once existed monasteries, where a monk had tired of the autocratic severe conditions in the monastery and left to work as a groundsman at Underbank Hall until he passed. He was subsequently buried in unhallowed ground, creating a restless spirit, and the new bypass could have been built over his grave. There was also a theory as to why the ghostly children were seen dancing around. Apparently, children had been used in the local coal mine in the late 18th and early 19th century and had lost their lives in a mining catastrophe. The policeman DC Ellis, who originally spoke to the two security guards, and a detective by the name of John Beat, decided to visit the haunted location one night in an attempt to throw some light into what had caused the men to become so hysterical. One night they had stopped the engine of the police car and sat and waited. A short time later, DC Ellis had a strange cold feeling come over him and then felt something pressing down on the right-hand side of the car. He quickly spun his head around and saw the upper part of someone's chest with a clear V sign that suddenly vanished. He then jumped out of the car and walked around it and under it, but found nothing. Whatever he saw could not have disappeared that quickly. Then they had trouble restarting the car, but when they were finally able to drive away, there was a loud thump on the back of the car, as if someone had struck it with a bat. After that experience, DC Ellis claims that the type of fear he felt was not like dealing with a criminal, but was a fear that you had no control over, as there were no answers to what he had encountered.